What's up? This is Tom Froming from twinsdaily.com, and today I just want to share some interesting stats I came across and actually show you how you can pull them up as well. Because these are probably going to be things I'm going to reference in future videos. This is stuff you're probably going to find interesting and want to know where to find it. So this first one I want to talk about actually stems from a comment we got on one of the videos I shared at Twins Daily from commenter Twins1095. And basically it was, hey, there should be a blow-up metric. Why isn't there a blow-up metric? Season totals for relievers, maybe that's not really the best place to look at these guys. And that kind of sparked my memory that there is a blow-up metric. There's shutdowns and meltdowns is a stat that I had heard about a while ago, and I think I'd read an article that was pointing out that the top guys, but I never knew I never bothered to go find where you can find it. And turns out it's available on FanGraphs. It might be available elsewhere, but that's where I found it. Here's a basic explanation of the stat. It's actually pretty simple. Basically, a shutdown qualifies as a relief outing in which a guy posts a WPA of 0.06 or higher. A meltdown is when a reliever posted WPA of 0.06 or negative 0.06 or worse. So, pretty basic thing, and it's all based around WPA, which is something that I think is really fun, especially on a game-by-game basis. We use it in every single one of the game recaps at Twins Daily. So I'm going to show you where you can find this stuff at FanGraphs. If you go to the Leaders tab, Pitching Leaders, it is under the Win Probability tab. And it's this SD and MD at the end. Now, why are all these zeros? Well, we've got starting pitchers and only qualified starters. So let's bump that over to relievers. And we'll just leave it at qualified relievers. And you can see, there we go. SD and MD, we got some numbers filled up. And check this out. This is super interesting to think of this. Who are our top guys here? Check this out. Will Smith of the Giants. Kirby Yates of the Padres. Third, Sam Dyson. Fourth, Taylor Rogers. So the Twins have the third and fourth guys on this shutdown metric. That's pretty eye-opening. And then if we scroll down just a little bit further, check out Sergio Romo, 18th. This is out of 166 qualified relievers. And you can see that's a really good-looking ratio compared to some of these other guys. 23 shutdowns and only 4 meltdowns for Romo. 27-6 for Rogers and 30-6 for Dyson. So, those metrics paint a really good picture of the Twins bullpen, at least that top chunk. Now, to be fair, the meltdowns are in there. Let's go take a look. And we do have a Twin pretty high up on this list. Unfortunately, Ryan Harper is 12th. Well, he's tied for 7th, I suppose. But just to be fair, Ryan Harper is on the bad end, even though the Twins look really good on the shutdown end. I think a lot of Twins fans would probably be pretty surprised to see that Sam Dyson's so high. Obviously, didn't make the greatest of first impressions with the Twins, but he was having an excellent season in San Francisco. So hopefully he keeps that up. And yeah, to put it that way, that in this particular metric, he's better than Taylor Rogers is pretty impressive. So that's just a fun bullpen-specific stat. And if you know me, I'm kind of into the bullpen stuff. So in particular, that's something I find really interesting. So that was the first thing I want to talk about. Item number 2, we're actually going to hit up 3 different sources too also. This was FanGraphs. I want to go over to Baseball Reference and talk about some stuff in regard to pitching. I just think Baseball Reference has a bit more of a historical reputation, I suppose. I guess take a look at the homepage, and they always have these random player photos. You got a bunch of guys in black and white. Was that Ruben Sierra? Yeah, former Twins great Ruben Sierra. But there's actually a lot of cool stuff you can pull up on here, at least I think. And one of them I want to show you. Again, this is another relief pitcher one. We'll go to Leaders, Pitching Leaders. And if we break it down from there at the pitching drop down, you can see there's a relief pitching specific menu you can pull up. because inherited runners, that's kind of something I see people talk about a lot. And the Twins, let's just see on top of this menu is all the team. In this particular stat, you can see the Twins are, in terms of inherited runner scoring, low. So that's good. You don't want inherited runner scoring. So the Twins are better than league average. League average is 32%. The Twins are at 29%. So they're actually very good at stranding inherited runners. And speaking of Ryan Harper, he's actually inherited the tied for the third most runners in baseball. And, on the flip side, he's also allowed 40% of them to score, which is pretty high. So it's not, Harper's certainly high. Actually, look at that. Taylor Rogers is even at 40%. So that was just kind of an interesting thing I wanted to show, that there's a whole relief pitching area. But there's another page on BREF I like to look at, which is pitching pitches, kind of the weirdest named thing. But I like this one too, and it's kind of the same idea. You go in here, you've got team stats, and then you've got pitching, the individual guys. And the thing that I did actually kind of poke around in here beforehand, and I want to show you the strike percentage. Check that out. The Twins are tied for third in baseball for the highest strike percentage as a staff. So they throw almost more strikes than anybody in baseball. The only teams with more are the Rays and the Dodgers. You can see league average is 63.8%. The Twins are at 65. If you scroll down to a little lower, you can see the pitchers again. I'm going to modify this table once again so you can get a peek at that. We'll cut it down at 40 again. And you can actually eliminate individual players. That's what this first X does. But if you hit this one, it deletes everybody from there down. So scrolling back up. And let's close that. Struggling. My command's off. All right, so we've got a pretty healthy sample here of 343 pitchers. Whew. A lot of dudes. Let's check out who is kind of carrying that stat for the Twins, because we know it ain't Kyle Gibson. That was mean. So here we go. Taylor Rogers at 69% is the top guy for the Twins. He is 12th. Ryan Harper keeps coming up. He's 18th at 68.3. This is out of that 340-some sample, too. So these guys are way up there. Barrios, 67.8. He's 24th. Pineda, 67.5. He's 28th. So this is a squad that really attacks, gets a lot of strikes. And actually, Sam Dyson, check that out. He's 20th. Obviously, he hasn't contributed much to the overall Twins number so far, but maybe that was part to do with why they targeted him, was because he throws so many strikes. So just that kind of an interesting thing there. Again, there might be other places you can pull up similar or the exact same information, but I just kind of came across that and was kind of surprised. I guess I wouldn't have guessed that the Twins would be tied for third in all of baseball in strike percentage. I don't know. What does that surprise you? It surprised me. But let's move on to our last one I want to talk about, and that's Baseball Savant. You're probably thinking, oh, this is going to be some really deep dive StatCast thing, isn't it? No, actually, I'm going to show you how to pull up some really easy and interesting video stuff. Like, I don't know if you heard, but Trevor May threw a pitch 100 miles per hour not that long ago. Technically, I suppose it was like 99.8. Let's say you wanted to go find that pitch. If you go to Trevor May, this is the quickest way to do it. There's a few ways you could do it on Baseball Savant. But they just updated their game logs. So this is his profile. If you go to game logs and then hit StatCast, check this out too. And we can sort this by a few different things. Not a ton of different stuff, but miles per hour on the pitch is one. Hey, look, there's that 99.8 mile per hour pitch. Let's check out the video.
80s. Towards second. Out at second. Double play. And May.
I think there is that perception that Baseball Savant, and it's true. It's home of all of the crazy StatCast stuff, the expected stats, all the defensive metrics that's on. There's the amount of depth you can go into is incredible on this, but also there are insane like video tools like that, or like just thinking of Nelson Cruz hits the crap out of the ball all the time, right? Let's check out what's the hardest ball he's hit. And actually, you know what? That might have been recent. That one might not be available at this moment. So again, we've got to his profile. We go to game logs. We go to Statcast, and again, same thing. You can see so much in here. So let's take a look. Jeez, let's take a look at exit velocity is one of those things you can sort by. Okay, yeah, and that's amazing. So in that incredible game Lucas Giolito just pitched, a complete game shutout, that was the day Nelson Cruz had his hardest hit ball at 117. Let's see the hardest hit home run. Because look at that. Actually, most of his hardest hit balls haven't been homers so far. 113.1 miles per hour.
Who has 6 home runs
off Giolito. How weird is that? That's funny. Oh, I remember this one now. Yeah. So, as you may have noticed, I ran into some audio issues there, and then my entire outro got ruined. So I just want to say thanks for watching that. Again, this is Tom Froming from twinsdaily.com. I hope you found that valuable and interesting. And now you can also watch my cat Gus ruin an earlier take that I had on this. Enjoy. We'll talk again soon. I basically said, hey Gus, that's my cat. Pardon him. Okay. This isn't going to work. Gus, what do you want? Buddy, you can't talk about baseball. I know you watch a lot of baseball, but you can't help me with this, pal. Okay? All right. I guess I'm stopping now. Ugh.